Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I do hope that your day has been good so far. We're sitting outside, still a little bit chilly, but I believe you're going to have a wonderful time with us today. So today I have another guest with me, and I'm going to ask him to introduce himself. His first name is Tsungi, so he's Sazita. He's going to tell us who he is and a little bit about himself, just about a minute, just so that you know his backstory. Welcome to the show, Tsungi.
Thank you, Auntie Tsungi. And as you alluded to, I'm a Sazita. My name is Tsungi Njini. I love life. I love people.
Yeah.
And I am a dad of a almost 2-year-old. So fun times.
Yeah.
But I just am here and I love this platform and just the inspiration that it brings.
Well, thanks so much. Thanks so much. We're grateful for you joining us. And I think it's been a long time coming as well, because I meant to interview quite a while back.
Yes.
Very hard to get a hold
Yes.
of. But anyway, we're here now.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, so I know you've got lots to share about the goodness of the Lord. So you can just carry on, and go ahead and tell us your life story.
Yeah, indeed. I think God is good and God is faithful. And I think one thing that sticks out so much is who God is making me become in the process. Mm-hmm. And I've always, like earlier on, I know in my early teens, one of my youth pastors used to say, the Christian is always in the process of becoming. You never arrive. And I used to wonder what that means. But, as I grew older, it made so much sense. And I think it was realizing that when you're in high school, you have so much of a structured system. Some of us are go-getters. You want your academics up because your parents expect that from you.
Pressure.
You also want to be on the sports field because it gives you the adrenaline and it gives you recognition and identity. And culture-wise, you also want to be someone who seems to have a softer side to you, So that pressure to be the best version of yourself has always been something that I've had, and I want to strive to be out there, to be doing something that I think in my earlier years I'd see something that makes me someone, gives me an identity or gets me recognized. But I think in becoming a Christian and studying the Word of God, that becomes different, because I think there's one word that most of us don't like, and that's waiting.
Oh yeah, waiting. We're impatient, generally speaking.
Yeah. And so you know what? So I think as I was thinking through this, and I was like, okay, if I'm going to share something, what would it be? And I realized it's the waiting process, but also the becoming. Who am I when I'm waiting?
When you're waiting.
And I think it's profound, because we go through different seasons, and like I alluded to earlier on, during high school, we've got structured systems. Our parents invest so much, so they want the best from us.
Yeah.
And also we want the best for ourselves, so there's expectation. And then it's easier in school because I think you're younger, the parameters are out there.
Yeah.
You study hard, you put in the work, you get your A grades, or at least you get your top B grades. You practice, you train, you make the first team. You go for the culture sessions, you put in your research and all that, you're out there. But what happens after high school when you get in the world? I think that's one thing that they don't tell you. You wait for something. And coming from a system where you're waiting for the second term to start, you don't process it. But now you go to uni, you're waiting for graduation.
Yeah.
You're waiting for an internship. You're waiting for, it's small things, even like, oh, will I get raised? Will I get accepted in the program of choice? And I think it hit hard. Like for me, one of the things that frustrated or got me anxious was the period in between university and A-level, as you have degree options.
So much to choose from.
You've got your first choice.
Yeah.
And you've got your second choice. And usually your second choice is like, I can live with that. Your first choice is what you want. But the waiting process is like, what am I waiting for? And at that point is I'm waiting for an acceptance. The acceptance comes, you get in. What is the next thing you're waiting for? You're waiting for, like, your first year, your O week, you're waiting for graduation, you're waiting for your first job.
Yeah.
But in that whole process, it's character building. And as a Christian, I think that's when God has the best time of his life, because he then begins to put spanners, or I would say different pieces to the puzzle. And you're one of the good ones. You should get the placement or the acceptance, and it doesn't come your way.
It doesn't come. So it's a shocker.
And it is a shocker, because I'm like, but but I'm better than Tsungi, so why am I not getting it? Or it's obvious, I'm just waiting because I'm in there and you're not in the lineup.
And that's what happened to you?
It did. So literally, I think, firstly, it was like an option of going to university. You're like, okay, my first choice university then tells me, we can take you, but you have to take a default program.
As in you can't get
you
what
can't
you
directly,
want.
because I did commercials for A-level, but because I didn't have math in my combination, it meant that they wanted someone with math. As opposed to me, who had the actual the accounts that I needed. And so you're like,
that's quite rigid though. I think that needs to change.
I think it evolved after us.
Okay.
But at that point it was now, the choice is, do I go there for the status and just do something because I'm there?
And say I went to this university.
I went to this university. Or do you go back to the drawing board and go to a place where you can actually do what you want? And that was quite a frustrating moment because, yes, I then went to the second choice university, which was brilliant. But I remember in my first semester of first year, if anything didn't go right, I'm like, I never wanted to be here. But
that wasn't my first choice.
Yeah, that wasn't my first choice. Why am I waiting on this? And then I'm waiting to say, okay, possibly, I had a conversation with the Rens. If they choose to, change something, I still could go where I want and do something different. But in that waiting process, character was being built.
But weren't you doing what you wanted though at another university? Not quite.
It was what I wanted, but I think it was because my mind was fixated on a place and an environment.
Okay.
And I think at that point, God made me wait in a different environment. And now in hindsight, I think it was the best decision God made for me. Because I wouldn't be the person I am now. And so even when I then learned other things like with the whole waiting, so it just doesn't end there. Then I remember after graduation, so excited about getting into the marketplace. Shortlisted my top 3 companies that I'd have wanted to work in. First choice comes through, you come for your first interview, you go in, you're shortlisted for the second one, you go through, that's the final one, you go through, you're like, you know what, it's almost done.
They need me.
They need me. And they give you timelines. And then, no, just give us 2 more weeks. You're waiting. But you're like,
but you keep waiting.
I'm almost there. So, okay, I'll wait. And then the phone call comes through, but it's not the conversation you want to hear. It's like, no, so unfortunately, we regret to advise you that we then settled for this because instead of taking 2 of you, you can only take 1, And
you're like wondering, what about me? Why am I not the one?
So I'm like, so I'm waiting again. And you ask yourself, so for how long will I keep waiting? Now, because you're thinking there are other opportunities that I've forgone, that I was waiting for. And then it doesn't end there. Then it's still because they're still recruiting different companies. You've put in your CVs in the pool. The second choice company calls. And then I go through the same rigorous process. Final season, like, no, we're going to get, I think the last one was on the 24th or 23rd of the month, if I'm not mistaken. They're like, no, we want you guys to start on the 1st.
Oh, you got it.
So I'm like, no. It's but it's the final. So if you get it, so it's like, it's 7 days. You're expectant, you're excited, you're like, but at this time
I'll get it.
I'm in. What do? You get to the last day of the month, there's no response.
And you're meant to be starting on the 1st.
And the next day, so you're like, and then, so I'm like, okay, there's no response for them. But after that, the third choice comes through. Then they're like, we want you to come to work. Can you come tomorrow? I was like, no, I'm not in town. So you're buying time.
Were you not in town?
I was actually in Gweru then. I wasn't in town. But it was also now a coincidence to say, I'm not in town. It's a Thursday. If they allow me to come on a Monday, one is a Friday. Surely these guys will tell me Utikuya.
Oh,
and then, I was buying time for my second choice.
Number 2,
And then number 2, radio silence, nothing.
And Monday.
So now Monday comes. These guys actually phones like, we know you're out of town. We've shortlisted you. If you haven't traveled, we're still willing to wait for you until midweek because we think you're the right candidate.
There you go.
So Tuesday now, I'm like,
I better go.
I might as well go. And up to this day, 10, 12 odd years later, I'm still waiting for that response from the second best company to say.
But it's so bad. I think they need to just tell people that sorry, you haven't been accepted, than to keep people hanging.
But and yes, professional, I think that is a downside because at least people need to make choices and you don't want to be juggling a lot of balls in the air. But I think that was one of the points where I really then realized that for whatever I'm waiting for, I need to trust God in the process. Because I think in the process, in the waiting, I ceased enjoying what was going on around me and the other opportunities that could arise because I was fixated on a destination, on a goal, what I wanted.
Yeah.
And it's been a recurring thread and of late, and I think also because coming from a generation that is an I want, I get, instant gratification is real. We don't cherish the process so much. But then it, like, if you know, a few years back, I then even got to reflect to say, why is it I'm always waiting for something? And I remember chuckling with my cousin and I was like, you know what? And then he's like, no, you know what? It's the names our parents gave us. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, your name means perseverance. I was like, I don't need to be struggling.
I can identify with that.
Like,
that's my name, perseverance.
I was like, why do I need to persevere all the time and, you know, act like I'm struggling? Because the waiting seemed like a struggle.
It was too much, just getting too much
because
waiting,
I was like, why is it I am not at that point where I want and I don't get? But, you know, and sometimes, you know, even as a Christian, you want to say, but the Bible says, ask and you'll receive. But what is the gap or what is the time lag? It doesn't tell me when I receive.
Yeah.
But I think the most humbling thing, which I'm still learning because I think it doesn't stop, is who did I become in the waiting process?
Yeah.
Character was built, sometimes in ways that I didn't want.
Okay.
But I think in ways that made me realize who I was, not in myself, but who I was in Christ. Because I think some of the waiting seasons I went through made me take my focus off myself and became what God wanted me to be.
And that's what he wanted.
Yeah. And I think there are a number of things that I managed to do in my waiting seasons that I look back now and I one very pertinent example is in my immediate friend group, I'm the one who got married last. Okay. So obviously when the others move to the next season and you're waiting, you're like, what's wrong with me?
That was waiting again.
And that was a trying season, but I then decided to say, they are running their race and God has me on a mission.
Yeah.
Whilst I'm waiting, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And I chose to say, I will serve God with to the best of my abilities with the giftings that I have. And I have no regrets because in hindsight, that waiting season created opportunity, it created networks, it created a better me. And even now with the things that I waited for, that I now have, I'm like, you know what? In the Lord's timing, everything consolidates.
He makes things right in his time.
He makes things right in his time.
Yeah.
But and then I was taken aback to say, I'm waiting, but am I waiting in my own strength? And one of the scriptures that came to me is like, you know, they talk about, you know, those that wait upon the Lord. And I was like, Tsungi, who are you waiting on?
Yeah.
As opposed to what am I waiting for? Because if what I'm waiting for doesn't come,
then what?
Then what? But who I'm waiting with becomes the greater thing or the greatest thing, because if I'm waiting with someone, I'm waiting with God and I'm doing other things, then I become a richer person such that when I get to the destination,
that's profound.
Bearing in mind that that destination is only the beginning of another waiting process.
Yes.
Which is a funny thing because we have this destination addiction.
Destination addiction, I like that.
We want the milestones, forsaking the process. But I think it's in the waiting process that you then begin to have certain revelations. And I think as a Christian, God actually asks us to be diligent in the study of his word, in waiting on him. And I think as we get, you know, there's so many ways of getting to a destination. And I always say it to some of the my younger lighters that I hang around, and I say, there are certain things that God will make you do in a season of waiting. There is no one correct answer. There are a lot of gray areas in life. You can get to the gate by going straight,
or you can
go around the house,
or you can just go around another tree.
Or you can even fly to the gate,
or you can go over the wall and come to the gate.
The issue is the destination is there.
It's there.
It's the how you get there.
Yeah.
And in that how, the what becomes evident. What am I waiting on? What am I waiting for? And does it have value? Does it make me a better person? And the harder question is ultimately, does it glorify God? Because so many times, and I'm a victim to that, we wait for things, we desire destinations that draw us further away from God.
That's actually a hard fact to accept, but it's generally true, hey, what you're saying.
So it becomes like an introspection cycle for me to say, in whatever season I'm in, we're all waiting for something. Our parents are waiting for more grandkids. We're waiting for a pay rise.
Grandkids.
Yeah, we're waiting for a pay rise. We're waiting for a better car, a better house.
A
breakthrough. Sometimes we're waiting for just, we're waiting for ourselves to just get around something. And in that waiting process, do we rob ourselves of the experience of growing in grace, growing in character? And sometimes, for me, I've realized the greatest points of ministry, being poured into and being pouring out, have been in the waiting seasons.
Yeah.
When you get to the destination, you're just on a pedestal, but you don't stay there for a while, because when you get there, someone who sees you there, they don't know how long it took you to get there, or how far you've come.
They don't know.
As far as they know you as the guy who has arrived or the guy who is there.
Yes, that's so true.
And so even the weight and the value that they give you when you're there is probably not what you expect.
Because they were not part of the journey.
They were not part of the journey. And for me, I then realized to say, the people that have been part of my waiting process, the God that has moved me from step A to step B, or even taken me back from C back to the to A, is doing something in my waiting process. What does he want me to see?
Yeah.
And ultimately, the thing that I see is the man who he wants me to be, the identity that he wants me to take on.
Yeah.
And whilst I'm waiting, if I don't get there, am I content?
Yeah, that's a hard question. What if I don't get there?
Because what if I don't get there? For someone else, they're like, wow, I want to be like Auntie Tsungi. She's self-made. But here you are thinking, but I'm not even halfway there.
I haven't even taken it. I've just checked in.
Yeah, I've just checked in.
Leave.
And yes, their narrative or their perspective is not anything that should change your trajectory. But I think it's something that should make you think to say, whilst I'm waiting, who am I becoming? Where is God in the puzzle? And what can I do? Because if I don't get there, will I be able to say, I have lived a fulfilled life? Because sometimes I'm waiting for, for my daughter to start school out of interest sake, so that I can then be actively involved in kids' church or in youth. But how many other younger kids have I robbed of ministry because I'm fixated on what I can only do for my daughter?
Yeah.
But possibly the pouring out that I'm doing in these other lives that are going before my daughter is the ministry that they will need to be able to sustain when my daughter gets to that stage. Yeah. And it's just one example, but to say, you want to pay it forward, but you're saying, in the moment when God has you on hold, as you perceive it to be, because as far as he's concerned, I'm not waiting in his eyes.
No. That's our perspective.
Yeah. Our perspective is, I'm stagnant, I'm stuck. It's not happening according to his timeline. But his timeline is, and he sees the east from the west. He's the owner of time. He's the author of time.
Yeah.
So who am I to say, by December, I should have done ABC?
Give God deadlines.
Yeah. And then if that deadline doesn't work, I'm like, but God, you let me down. And I then hit a crisis of the faith, which is real, because what I'm waiting for, what I want to get, I think 50% of the time, it's not for me or for God.
Yeah.
It's for the people around me to see me for who I am now. Look at me now. Yes, I'll give God the glory, but I give him the glory so that he doesn't feel like, you know what, he's now being a little God himself. But it's
giving God credit.
Yeah. But it's just amazing to see that. I think more of life, at whichever season you're in, is actually done in the waiting room.
That's a very interesting perspective, but it's so true.
And whilst I'm in the waiting room, who am I becoming? What is my ministry? Because, God tells us to go and make disciples of all nations. And yes, we want to go, but we have to get to the departure lounge. Am I going to hold on to my witness because I haven't boarded the plane? I'm going to start my ministry there in case the plane is cancelled because the weather conditions don't permit.
Yeah.
Or even if I then get to board on the plane, but part of the ammunition that I needed when I'm on the plane, I left in the departure lounge because I didn't trust the process. I didn't enjoy it.
Interesting, yeah.
And just to get it out there, I don't have it figured out.
But you've experienced periods of waiting, obviously.
Yeah, but during the periods of waiting, it's who am I becoming? But ultimately, who am I waiting on? Because if I'm waiting on God and then I'm waiting for something, if the thing that I'm waiting for doesn't materialize or doesn't happen, I still have comfort, I still have relief and I still have a refuge because I'm waiting on the bigger thing. I'm waiting on God, who is the ultimate force.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But to flip my mind and say, do I wait on God or do I wait on that paycheck or do I wait on that business deal? It's hard because, because I'm looking like the business deal is the thing that propels me. But no, it's actually God who propels me.
It is God.
And sometimes that business deal does not translate because it's probably going to short circuit my mission and my destiny.
Well, it might take you away from God.
It might take me away from God, which is also the hard thing because I think sometimes in the waiting room you think, I'm waiting so God doesn't love me. Everyone else is there, their planes are landing and they're taking off.
Their things are happening.
Their things are happening, but what about me?
Me? What? You don't know their journey either.
But,
I guess,
but God, I'm faithful. I've done A, B, C, D.
So it's not
I'm actually better than Tsungi.
Yeah, people do that. They're like, no, if they can, what about me?
Because I become the arbiter, I become the judge, and I'm saying, because I've waited for so long,
and because I do this,
and I do A, B, C, D, God has to package my ideal, itinerary in this way.
Very interesting perspective.
So yeah, it's the challenge is consistently realizing that I think I've been waiting all my life, waiting to see the goodness of God, waiting on the promises of God, and in that, trying to then break that down and say, whilst I'm at it, where is God in this? Because many a times we believe, like especially now in our generation where you're in your prime, you want to achieve so much. Sometimes you actually forget even to wait on God because you don't want to stop. Because if you stop, you feel left behind. Or when you wait, you're just waiting to get the clearance and then you move. And it's a challenge for me personally to say, for the things that I'm waiting for, where is God in that cycle? And even as I'm waiting, am I waiting on God because His word tells me to wait for Him? And if I wait on Him, they say, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. So if I wait on God, I'm not going to go running in my own strength. I'll go running in His strength. And if I don't have the strength, then possibly it's not the time. I need to wait until His strength fills me up. And then if I run, knowing that I'm using His strength, if I'm getting tired or I'm feeling like I'm exhausted, He renews.
He does. He does renew.
And sometimes, like the eagle, He will then take me to greater heights because He is in it.
He has to be in it.
Yeah. So it's waiting upon the Lord to be renewed and sustained, as opposed to waiting upon me or waiting for a destination that I don't know what I will do when I get there. We have it figured out, but is it actually what we're going to do when we get there?
Exactly.
And if we get there, and yes, sometimes God, I think He has a sense of humor. He'll get you there, and then He takes you on a U-turn or on a detour.
That's almost like, I wish I hadn't even gotten there if I'm going to do a U-turn. I wish I had just waited.
Or it's to say, okay, God, I'm here, and you're making me wait again. Oh, God, I will wait because you have brought me every step of the way. So it becomes the perspective. It becomes...
Yeah, it's a perspective thing.
But ultimately, I think for me, it's who am I becoming in the waiting room? And whilst I'm there, who am I waiting on and with? And sometimes God, He's gracious because, he believes that he creates us for family and community.
Yeah, he does.
If we are obediently waiting, he will give us people that we wait with. People who will minister to us, people who will support us, people who will aid us. And in that we become better. And sometimes we then actually don't realize we were waiting all along because our focus is not on ourselves.
Not on ourselves.
It becomes on him and what he wants to do.
Exactly.
And I think it's taking it away. It's not to say I'm just going to be a full-time Christian waiting on God in the church and then be told to move and all that. But it's to see God in every facet of my life. It's in the parking lot. It's in the congestion. It's, it's on the sports field. It's in that business meeting to say, okay, this is getting heated. How do I wait on God? Oh, God, where are you? It becomes, I think when we try to wait on him, the habit becomes an unconscious habit. And you always talk about habits to say something that is done over time.
Yeah.
And for me, I think how amazing would it be to say, waiting on God becomes a natural reflex.
But as humans, we're fallible. So we usually want to rebel and go against that. We have to train ourselves to submit.
Yeah. I think it's submission and surrender.
Surrender, yeah.
And understanding that God created us for him. So whatever process we're going through, whatever season we are finding ourselves in, we're going with him. We're moving with him. We're waiting with him. And I think our outlook changes as Christians with that. We become more effective in the greatest commission that he has given us. We also become grateful and content to see him as the chief author of our lives. We begin to see him as the author of time. So yes, disappointments will come, setbacks will come, we will be frustrated, but we will still see that I'm waiting on God. And if I've moved to wait on myself, to try and realign, so that I wait on something that gives me strength and a buffering. And that will even propel me to greater heights.
Then greater than what you should have thought.
For his glory, not my glory.
Yeah, for his... That's true.
Because it's such that if I wait and I don't get it, I also don't... I don't want to imagine this, but I don't want to imagine being on my deathbed very grumpy about not having arrived, but also negating all the things that God has done, the things that I've waited for and he's come through, the blessings that he has given even in the waiting room.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's who am I when I'm waiting and who do I become?
And sometimes also a thing of that while you're waiting, whether the things you want are aligning with God's purpose to an extent. Although some things have nothing to do with that, but sometimes it is that there can just be so many reasons why you're being made to wait and you're not ready.
We're not ready, or it's preservation.
Yeah. Sometimes it's God delaying you, but he's saving you from something.
From something else. And even like you said, alignment with purpose. Sometimes we actually miss on our life's purpose because we're going with the wind.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say it's something we are not taught, but sometimes we actually struggle to realize what our purpose in life is because we are in a generation that consumes everything we get.
Yeah, I think finding your purpose it's a difficult thing for a lot of people because there's so much noise. You don't know, and you want to do what other people are doing, and yet you've got your own set of unique gifts, talents.
And because we're a first generation, waiting is unpopular.
It's a microwave generation. You want everything instant.
I want it all figured out. I move from point A to B. I'm self-made, and we're done.
But I'm interested to know. When you said you got the third option, you did get the job. You mentioned that.
Yes.
I wanted to find out when you look back, was that the right thing for you? Because you didn't get the first one, I think, and you didn't get the second one. Then I think you said you got the third one.
Yes.
I don't know how long you stayed there, but how was that for you? Was it like, now I understand?
I think
I'm still not understanding why I got that job.
I think God revealed himself strong.
He did.
And there are certain things that he then confirmed that this is the reason why I made you wait.
Why I wanted you here.
Yeah, and I think the first two places, whilst they were ideal, because everyone wants the good things. Not that the third place wasn't a good spot.
But you wanted those
But
other
I
ones.
think it was what would initially give me an identity.
Oh, it was more for those kind of reasons.
Yes, and you know, because you're starting your career, you want to be in an organization that, you know, after 4 years you finish your training, you're moving up the corporate ladder,
Everything is set up
everything
for
is
you.
set up for you.
Yeah.
Because you see, also when you get these offers to come for interviews, you're reliving the things that you've envisioned through your university years, when you go through the career days and the internships and all that. But I think me being in my third option, there are things and relationships that I still cherish up to now.
Okay.
From that
time.
And also just seeing the hand of God.
Okay.
I think had I been in the other place, there are certain things that I know right now I would probably have been a victim of.
Oh,
that
okay.
did not come my way.
So,
So I think there were wins to that move. And I think I ran that race to its end. And I still give God the glory for that.
Okay.
Because whilst for me, it was a third option. Someone was still envious, say, Ish, at least you have, because it was at the peak of hyperinflation, companies were downsizing and all that. And I still had the opportunity of getting that offer. So
some people will be like, wow, and
wow,
you'll be like, this is not
you're
my
like,
first
no,
option.
you know, but it's then also realizing that when, you know, when the Bible talks about you're the apple of his eye, and God loves you as if you're the only one around. Like the one, when he leaves the 99 to pursue the one, it's you that he's working on, and it's you that he's working with. So the noise you talked about, for me, is like there was so much noise about what appealed, and where the least noise came from is where God wanted me.
That's
but
interesting.
I wasn't following
like,
that
no,
call.
no,
I was like,
good.
no, I want the highlights.
Yeah.
But then the low light became the highlight for me.
That's actually interesting. And it's a lot of times it's like that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a growing season, and it's you know, just understanding that I'm in the process of becoming, and I think I'll never arrive till Christ calls me home.
That's what I was going to say. If you've arrived, then it's time to go.
I'll never arrive, but whilst I'm in the process, how am I making God known?
Yeah.
How am I being the person that God wants me to be?
A light and salt wherever you are.
Yeah. And more so in the waiting room and not in the action. Because I think sometimes it's easy for you to say, did you not see me do this? But I was the playmaker, you know, from soccer. You know, and I think my lighters would identify with that. I want to be the top goal scorer. I want to be the MVP. But sometimes God just wants you to be the scorer.
Exactly. And another imagery that I keep getting is of people, when you said waiting room, I immediately thought of going to the doctors.
Yeah.
You know, when you'd be sitting
in the waiting room. And everyone's got their own ailment.
And they're like, no, it's not. And you'd be like, maybe it's my turn. You know, when they come and you'd be like, no, not you yet. Or there's 7 people who booked at the same time.
And you keep getting impatient.
Yeah, that's what I keep thinking of. And you're saying, no, I need to see the doctor. I need to be in there.
And God is the doctor.
And you're like, yeah, no, we'll tell you, man, when it's your turn.
When it's your time.
Wait. So it's like that as well. You can't force your way in.
You can't force your way in, because sometimes you force your way in. He's like, I'm not ready for you.
Yeah.
Or you then don't get treated on time.
You have to follow the procedure, go to the reception.
Yeah.
They look at your file.
They look at you.
And then just go and wait until it's your turn.
True.
And everyone's turn is different. And the people who go then before you be like, but like they got there maybe before you, or there's a plethora of reasons.
Yeah. It is. And sometimes like you use that to say, sometimes God made you wait. Like, no, they say, no, but her procedure is a quick procedure, but we need more time with you. And God is like, no, I'm still doing something within you. I'm still incubating. So wait for it. Wait for it. The butterfly and the caterpillar. For me, it's always the butterfly and the caterpillar analogy to say, am I forcing myself out of the cocoon? I'm waiting for it to unravel, and then I can actually fly.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Wow. So profound. Yeah. So I'm wondering what you can say to the people as a take-home message. People who are waiting for different things, who've been waiting for years. Some have been waiting for a few days or weeks, months. There's some people who've been waiting for years, for whatever. What can you give them as a word of encouragement, like, you know, as a take-home message?
I think I'm also still waiting for other things.
For other things,
yeah.
A whole list of things.
Yeah, but I think my encouragement is to wait on the Lord and to wait with God. And whilst you're waiting, who are you becoming? Because sometimes we miss out on the things that make us whole, that make us better. Because you're looking at the destination.
At the destination, you're not enjoying the process of the journey.
When you're playing, when the football or the rugby game starts, you start from the center. You don't start from the goal.
That's
the goal kick.
interesting. I've never thought about that.
Or from the try box.
Go back.
But you go back to center and you progress.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all waiting on something, but if we're waiting on God, those things will progress in due time. And we trust the process, knowing that God will do all things and work all things for our good.
Which means we're really trusting God.
Yeah, we're trusting God. And even David, the psalmist, always says, I will wait on the Lord. I will trust in the Lord.
I will wait patiently
I will wait patiently for him.
Yeah.
You know, and to know that when you're waiting, God will equip you for the journey that lies ahead.
And
because he will renew you,
yeah.
He will pour into you, and he will sustain you. So wait on the Lord. And whilst you're waiting, who are you becoming?
Who are you becoming? Not just what do you want.
Yeah,
what are you waiting for?
Yeah, yeah. Because when you arrive,
yeah,
are you arriving complete or incomplete?
Or are you going to have to make a U-turn?
And make a U-turn to pick up some of the things that you left in the waiting room.
It's the concept of saying God will make you go around the same mountain. If you have not learned the lesson, or if he's not where you're not where he wants you to be yet.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're not ready for the destination.
The
not
walls
yet.
of Jericho fell down on the 7th day. How many days did they march?
Exactly. Yeah.
When they were told to collect manna, they were told collect sufficient for the day. They're like, but no, we need some for tomorrow. They collected it and it rot. And then when they were told collect for tomorrow, it was still fresh on the next morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's the same with us.
And I think it's also about hearing God's voice, because those are, like, when you talk about the children, those are specific instructions. We have to develop that ability to hear, and that means spending time. Because you can't hear properly someone you don't spend time with. You can't.
Correct.
So what more with the Lord?
Correct.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you. I think because of the time of the year, we're just over the halfway mark. I think it's a timely word for people who maybe are still waiting. Maybe
we're still waiting. And for those that do New Year resolutions, what have I achieved in the first half of the year? Tick, tick, tick.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and I speak to, there's the younger generation, but there's our parents' generation.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just waiting for periods of rest.
Yeah.
Because you've invested so much, you've expended so much. And sometimes the only thing that you're waiting for right now is a bit of rest to just recoup and recover.
Yeah. That's so
and
true.
Sometimes, so when you get to this part of the year and the question is soft line, what have you achieved?
From January to January. The 7th month. No, it's August.
It's August.
Yeah, 8th month.
You've retained your sanity, you've achieved some rest, and you've been able to just be in control of yourself, waiting on God.
You're still alive, for one.
You're still alive. So it's interesting for different people, but just know that when you wait in your season, wait with the Lord.
Thank you for that. To me, it just speaks so much of enjoying the journey. That it's your testimony the journey is part of it. It's not just about what happened in the end. You can't jump everything that happened in between.
Correct.
Thank you so much, Tsungi.
Pleasure. It's always a pleasure to be here. And we look for more stories and more enrichment.
Yes. I'm sure that will happen all in good time. So everyone, thank you for watching till the end. And remember to share this testimony so that other people who are waiting can also be encouraged. And remember to like and comment. And if you haven't subscribed, so that you join the family, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.